Hi, everybody. I want to thank Rabbi Ari Leibowitz for this Dvar Torah. Saying the right thing at the wrong time can be disastrous. This week is Pashas Tazria Metzora. It's a double header. And in chapter 13, verse 3, the Kohen is inspecting someone who has something called saras. And the pasuk begins, V'ra HaKohen. The Kohen looks and he inspects. And after he inspects, the Kohen wants to now give the diagnosis, and he declares, V'rahu HaKohen. And now it says, V'rahu HaKohen. And the Kohen sort of sees the man and says he's Tameh. And the Meshech Chochmah says, the pasuk begins, V'ra'ah, and now it ends, V'rahu. What's going on? So the Gemara in Moed Katan, Daf Zayin Amit Bet, says that if a person comes to the Kohen to inspect him for a rash, for a skin ailment, Erev Yom Tov, and the Kohen looks at the ailment, and then he says, if this guy is impure, he's going to have to leave his family. It's going to upset the family. It's going to upset him. They're not going to have Simchas Yom Tov. Now the Kohen, after he looks at the skin ailment, he looks at the whole picture. He looks at the person in front of him. Who's relying on him? What's his role? The Kohen can say, you know what? Come back after Yom Tov. Come see me, and we'll talk. That delay will ensure that the family will have a Simchas Yom Tov, and then afterwards they can deal with the issue. Rachel Goldberg, Hirsch Goldberg Pollen's mom, spoke at a YU dinner, and she tells a story that her mother had transferred her to an Orthodox day school. They did not grow up Orthodox, and she didn't say why her mother decided to send her there. And the first day of class, as a young teenager, she wore a pair of purple corduroy pants. Very excited. She goes to school, and she notices while she's in school, none of the girls are wearing pants. She's the only girl wearing pants. Not one person came over to her and said a word. Not her teachers, not the principals, not her Rebbe, no one. She gets home and she tells her mother, she says, Mom, I don't understand. I'm the only one wearing pants. She goes, oh yeah, Orthodox girls don't wear pants, or at least in school, they don't wear the pants. And Rachel said to herself, wow, no one came over and embarrassed me. I want to be part of these people. Had someone come over and said something to her, even though it might have been the right thing, who knows, it might have embarrassed her. The importance of seeing the whole person. And I heard this idea from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, that why is it the Kohen has to declare the person impure? The Kohen doesn't have to be an expert. He can bring a dermatologist, he can bring some sort of spiritual dermatologist to figure out if this skin ailment is sarat, but the expert cannot declare the person impure, only the Kohen. Why? Because the Kohen, when he blesses the Jewish people, he does it ba'ava. He does it with love. So when the Kohen has to declare him impure, and he has to go out of the camp, has to leave the community, the person knows it's coming from a place of love. Such an important lesson for all of us when we're in a situation where we have to share a truth. We may have to share some advice, but we have to know when is the right time to share that. Even if it's right, even though it's important, it may not be at that exact moment. Anyway, if you like what you hear, please pass it on. I want to wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom.